Kellogg cereal is required to remove dyes, food colorings, and petroleums from their cereal, which is a bunch of nonsense, and it makes you think why they have it in there to begin with. But you think about it, population control, people going to the doctors left and right for doctor's visits, not to mention more money for these big wig prescription companies. And to think cereals, such as Kellogg's, are aimed and targeted at children. Then they wonder why children can't sit still and focus in the classrooms, and it makes you think if Kellogg's is doing this, how many other cereal brands and companies in general are putting this nonsense in their food. You know what I mean? They say Kellogg's has been, removed these dyes from products over there in Canada and Europe, you know, but still was using them in the US. And my message, to all people, but especially my Black American, FBA family is don't feed your kids none of this filth inside of a box. Make sure our youth are getting, plenty of, fresh fruits and vegetables, and, oatmeal in the morning and things like that that edify the body, not destroy it. So I got the audio and the video of this nonsense to where though they putting dyes, in the Kellogg cereal, and Kellogg cereal is basically aimed and targeted at the youth. And we're gonna walk through and talk about this thing how we normally do. Fair use.
They make some of the most iconic cereals in the world, like Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks. Now, Kellogg's announced it's removing the artificial dyes that give those cereals their bright colors. Kellogg's will stop using the food colorings by 2027. The company told Straight.
Did you hear that, family? By 2027. Keyword being by 2027, which means they putting this nonsense in them cereals, right as we speak. Why the hell ain't they required to remove this poison and filth from the foods ASAP? Makes you think, but let's continue.
Arrow News, we see the growing focus on health as an opportunity to meet consumer needs in even more meaningful ways. Kellogg signed a legally binding agreement with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who said it's the first of its kind. Companies including Kraft Heinz, Hershey, Tyson's, and others have made verbal commitments. Most food dyes are made with synthetic petroleum-based chemicals. They have no nutritional value and are only used to enhance the colors of food. Kellogg's cereals, including Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks, contain Yellow 6, Yellow 5, Red 40, and Blue 1. According to the Cleveland Clinic, Red 40 can lead to hyperactivity, including ADHD, behavioral challenges like irritability and depression, skin irritation, and migraines. The other dyes have been shown to have negative side effects. However, the FDA says most children have no adverse effects. I'm Ray Bogan for Straight Arrow News. For more reporting,
like I said, they feed this, poison and filth to us, over here in America, then wonder why some of our kids can't sit still and focus in the classrooms. Not to mention, America has, some of the poorest, health conditions and obesity rates in terms of, nations. So, these are just my thoughts on the matter, family, but, make sure you, looking at the box before you consuming it, especially giving it to your kids. Do your due diligence to see, what's all the ingredients on that label, because they ain't putting, things in here to edify life. They putting things in there to destroy it. Just my thoughts on the matter. Peace.